It is the Anfield wrap after Liverpool won, the School of Science won. Neil Atkinson, Rob Gutmann, Paul Senior, Gareth Roberts and Andy Heaton all with you for the next, I'd say, about an hour or so to talk about that game and the way in which it played out, the Champions League draw, and have a little look ahead to West Bromwich Albion at home. But we will obviously start with Liverpool versus Everton. And I'll start with Gareth Roberts, to be honest with you. Gareth, the obvious place to start is the team selection, what you thought of it, how you think it played out for Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, Jurgen's defended it, quite vigorously since, hasn't he? And I think what his stock line is that we're doing this with hindsight when we criticise him, but it wasn't with hindsight. It was when it was announced. There was loads of people, me included, going, Jesus Christ, that looks like a bit of a gamble. And look, we all understand the minutes in legs, the rotation thing, the fact that last season, we fell off the rails so badly, and he's obviously trying to avoid that this season. But I just think, when you're playing Everton at home, it's such a big game, it's so important. And I think, another aspect of Klopp's management is that he wants the supporters fully on board, he wants the ground to be rocking and all the rest of it. Well, that being the case, then Jurgen, pick the strongest team, let's batter Everton, and you will make everyone happy, mate. And that didn't happen. And I just think, lots and lots of people said, myself included, that if you're Everton and you see Solanke starting, it's a little bit of a boost for you, I think. It's a little bit of a boost for you when a fella in the week who's scored an hat-trick in the Champions League's not playing, when a fella in Firmino who scored more this season than he managed in the whole of last season isn't playing. I just think it is a boost for you. And all of a sudden, our midfield as well, I thought, just looked a bit more graft and guile. All of a sudden, I just thought, because you knew what they were going to do. You knew what they were going to do, and everything they did was no surprise. And I'm not really into the moaning about what they did, because, as I've just said, you knew they were going to time waste. You knew they were going to put everyone behind the ball. You knew they were going to try and dog it. They did all of those things, and all right, they get fortunate with the penalty and they get an equaliser. But I think Liverpool, Klopp, they've got to look at themselves over this and say that we can't blame Everton for coming and taking a draw. We can blame ourselves though.
Rob Gutmann, Gareth early on referred to it as a gamble which didn't pay off.
I don't think it was a gamble. I mean, I didn't complain about it beforehand. I think I'm in a minority. I've adopted a position that I'm getting what Klopp's doing. I think he's right in what he's doing. We're replaying these conversations on a every other game basis. We did it against Chelsea. Look, what I think he means by hindsight that he's not communicating is if we get the win or we knock in the second, which we should have done on several different occasions, and we get out of there with a very comfortable routine victory over Everton with legs rested, in that universe, Klopp is absolutely vindicated. I'm not convinced if you play every one of those boys again, and Everton park the bus as comprehensively as they've gone, that the game goes particularly in a different direction. I'm also not convinced that after 60, if you've only got a 1-0 lead in that scenario, that they're not all dead on their feet because they've been playing every frigging minute of the last up-team games. And then you've got sod all to come off the bench. Again, we said this after Chelsea. The proof of the pudding, to a degree, will be in how fresh we look in the coming games.
But what are we waiting for, Rob? We want to beat Everton, and we
want to beat them all. We want to beat them all. Yeah,
but I want to beat them more than most.
I want the points. I want the points.
I'm not one of these fellas who are going to say that's a cup final for Liverpool. But if in rotation, you beat a side in the week 7-0, and you could have beat that side 5-0 with the side he played against Everton. But I don't think you could have beat. I don't think there was any circumstance in which you beat Everton 7-0. But I know that side beats Everton. Without the sort of hint of arrogance, the Liverpool side that plays Spartak Moscow beats Everton.
Everton what? Utter crap ball.
Yeah, they were, Rob, but you take your two best central midfielders out and two of your best attackers out of that side. You're weaker in a game which is important to the fan base. And it's important, and it's always going to be important long after Jurgen Klopp has gone as well.
It's also Solanke's 20 years old, and that's his second league start.
He's never scored a Premier League goal, to my knowledge. He certainly hasn't scored one for Liverpool. It's just, I get the big picture.
And they're better than Everton. Marginally.
I get the big picture, and I get what he's trying to do. But not playing Firmino and Coutinho against Everton is not acceptable.
I just don't hold by this. It's about points on the board. It really is about points on the
Well,
board.
we dropped 12 of them by drawing this season. In the
I
league.
agree, but we haven't. Not all of them have been via rotation. You could say, I'll accept. Maybe you could argue that Chelsea and Everton are the points dropped are a consequence of rotation. But then I can argue that the games we've won either side of that are also a consequence of rotation. I think we've got enough. We should feel we've got enough in our locker to beat Everton, and we did have enough in our locker to beat Everton. If we look, had that game been a draw, well, not a draw, had it looked like a contest or we'd been beaten, I might have gone, Jesus, do you know what? We took a chance too many. But at 1-0, there was only one team going to win. I lumped on my safety bets against us. The bookies were giving 12-1 on the draw. No one in their right mind saw Everton coming back into that, apart from the god of derbies, and he turned up for them on cue. I don't know. Look. I'll accept there's an argument for saying he should. I agree with Paul's point to a degree. Maybe Spartak wasn't the big game, but he chose that one, and I disagreed with other people before that. I said Spartak were easy to beat. Others went, you can't take a risk. It's the Champions League. I think you did that. You said that to me, Neil, at one point. He won't take a risk with the Champions League, and you were right. I think you can't necessarily go strong back to back within 4 days. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm somewhere in between all these, to be honest, because I saw the lineup and I was like, fancied us to be a little bit strong. But then, off the back of that, having seen the first half an hour, I was going, well, we're all right here. I don't think the lineup was having initially been disappointed with the lineup. I don't think the lineup was the cause. We were dominating. We were dominating. We were all over. They're possibly the worst team that's been at Anfield this season.
A long time, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, really poor. They had no interest in engaging. I think if you're going to criticise the manager at all, it's the substitutions that do it for me. We kind of lost all momentum. We give them all the impetus. We went from impressing them to be impressed. They kind of have what we hold attitude that, I'm sound with protecting leads, but you're almost tempting fate.
The substitutions were rotation. They were in-play rotation. That was managing minutes and.
But it changed.
Is it 1-0? He takes Salah off.
Yeah,
it's
but
1-0.
it changes.
That's not acceptable. That's not game over. Like I know, the likes of Rafa will take stick for rotation, but at 1-0 on the derby, he's not doing that.
But it changes the shape of the midfield as well. It gives them the impetus, and they've obviously got to creep out at some point. Allardyce would have been happy with 1-0 up until to playing the way sticking to his guns even at 1-0 down. Only gambling for the last 15, 20.
Don't let them out of sight.
He wasn't going to move until 70. Those substitutions played into his hands. I think our substitutions played right into his hands at just the right time for them. And you know what? Even saying that though, how many? They got a penalty. It was a lucky penalty. They didn't carve us open. So all right, we didn't do as well as we should have done in the last 20 minutes of the game, but we were still unlucky to get away with a 1-1 draw.
Would we have done better in the last 20 minutes with our best players in the pitch?
Right, but we've been doing that all season though, even with stronger lineups. I think I saw a stat, excuse me. We've led at like 70 minutes in and we've dropped, I think it's 12 points or something from winning positions, and we've not scored in the last 20, regardless of lineup.
Seville away being the case in point. Strongest team out, Seville away, and we managed to concede 3 and not put a game away.
Look,
Why? Because they were dead on their feet. Mane was a passenger in Seville. Maybe Salah would have been.
I get that everyone's upset about it, and especially from a position of ascendancy at 1-0, but it's one of those games where it all depends on West Brom, the result against West Brom. If we get a decent result against West Brom,
yes,
you can look at this and everyone's bitter and sore, and it's the day after and one thing and the other. But no one talks about draw derbies. They're all celebrating like it's 1995, when in a month's time, no one gives a shit.
Exactly.
I do, to be honest, because my biggest, I'm not really upset because we've drawn a derby. I'm upset because Chelsea dropped points this weekend, and so did Arsenal.
Yeah.
And Chelsea
did Manchester United.
And so did Manchester United. But if you look at the Champions League draw, you go now, okay, well, Tottenham have got Juventus, they could go out, and Chelsea have got Barcelona, they could go out. Liverpool might go far in this competition, and then 2 points dropped up when you're just trying to, just limp over the line because you're playing in all competitions. You need them points in the bag, and Everton at home, regardless of the fact it's a derby, they're not very good, and Liverpool should beat them.
Gareth, looking at the whole season and sort of putting this in the context of the whole season, it does seem that the manager's been, and I'm going to use the word, that there was a scarring impact to last January, February. I know it's something you talked about on shows before, but it genuinely feels as though there was a real, like, they've come out of January, February last year, and him and his team, whoever it is, all of them have gone, that never happens to us again. And that appears to be the first thing in mind in practically all the footballing decisions that are happening at the club, really, is that does not happen to us again.
Yeah, it does appear that way, doesn't it? I think there's obviously a bigger picture, a longer term plan, which will go, past the derby and everything else. And, for us fans, though, it's still hard to take. And, he was scarred by that. And I think, he had only experienced the Bundesliga. Obviously, they had the winter break there, and it's a little bit easier around this time of year.
And it's just down like 4 fewer games across the course of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely, it is mad. Everyone's sports scientist, even if you go all the way back to Ferguson as well, always used to moan about this time of year. I think there's plenty of stats kicking around as well, like, unsurprisingly, that this is the time of year when most injuries crop up. and it has, it's clearly seeped into the brain of both Klopp, Buvak, the rest of them, and they've all had to sit down at the start of the season and gone, right, what are we going to do about this, and how can we avoid that situation, and how can we sort of stay up there and in contention? The worry is, like Paul's saying there, really, that it is so tight with basically 6 teams, and a team seemingly will forever thus be, that you can't afford these drop points. I wrote them down before. It's Watford, Burnley, Newcastle, Man United, Chelsea, and Everton. There are draws. Burnley's at home, United's at home, Chelsea's at home, and Everton's at home. I mean, challenges for the top, and not just the top spot, but the top 2, the top 3. They're almost always based on solid home records, on being brilliant at home. And by and large, we have been pretty good at home under Klopp, but that's got to rank as a really difficult to take 2 points dropped, because they were so shit. And they were there for the taking. And it's the Salah thing, just to go back to that for a moment. I mean, he's got 19 goals in 24 appearances for Liverpool, more than he manages for Roma all last season, or the same as, sorry. And it was, I heard there's been early talk on this podcast even about, oh yeah, we dominated the game and all this sort of thing. Well, we had the ball. But every time we got anywhere near the edge of the box, there was loads of foots in, there was loads of challenges. And I think across the course of the game, we managed 3 shots on target. They managed 2. And so when you're talking about domination, well, we didn't actually create that many clear-cut chances because of the way Everton set up, yes. Because of how determined they were to get a result, yes. But the man who provides the moment of magic with an absolutely brilliant turn, skins the other fella and bends it into the corner, is Mo Salah. And however fucked he is, or otherwise, he's a man capable of being your match winner. And it was too early for me to for him to be leaving the pitch. And Klopp's argument back, because it was put to him when he lost his rag with the Sky reporter, is that, well, Firmino comes on and he's capable of winning a game. Yeah, but surely logic says the more match winners on the pitch, you're more likely to win it.
I'd take the point about the 3 shots on target, but I think that's as much to do with poor decision making in those areas than anything. The amount of times we were in and around the 6-yard box and we picked the wrong pass, it must have fizzed across the face of goal 2 or 3 times, or we've not been as quick as we normally are with getting the ball across the front. And then obviously you've got the Mane chance towards the end of the first half as well, that goes in. Look, I'm not making excuses for them, but you mentioned Chelsea. I'd take all your points about every other game on that list, but maybe Chelsea and Everton, because I think it's within the fine margins. Willian scores that, intended or not, scores that mad goal. And we should have done better there. We should have maybe been 2 up against Everton again. We go into half time. That's game over. Look, it doesn't look great, but I just think we are within those very, very fine margins with those particular results. And if we get those 6 points as opposed to the 2, no one's complaining about the lineups, are they?
I just feel with the Salah sub, Anders, is that if this is a North London derby, for example, and Tottenham are 1-0 up, they're not pulling Harry Kane. And they're going to have to play a very similar, if not more...
substitution. I didn't agree with it at all.
My point is they're going to play a similar amount of games as Liverpool this year, but in that fixture, at that time, when that game is finally balanced, and I know Everton aren't great and they're not exactly knocking the door down, but you just don't take him off. Because the thing is, with Salah, do you know what, if you take Mane off there, I'm all right with it, because I don't think he's having a great game. But with Salah, he's the one who's just got that little bit of point of difference this season. I mean, the goal he scores is absolutely fantastic. And that, we went, the 4-0 derby game, do we have something like 41 shots on goal? They have 3. And it's not that type of game. Liverpool are in control, but they're not knocking the door down.
Did you see the stats at half time? 80% possession versus 20%.
But what my point is, we're literally not. There's no. I don't see Pickford making save after save after save. So if they score, that's when you then go, well, go on, Mo Salah. You go and do something else that can almost make it 2-1, and we just didn't have that on the pitch.
My thing, Rob, is I think that you put a similar argument up after Chelsea. We all heard you do it after Chelsea around a couple of things, and then there's a form of vindication for you, the manager. The next two, Liverpool win them both. That could still happen here, and that's fine. And I can see the arguments. I think my frustration, and I think it's being echoed to some extent in the room, is I'm completely fine with the idea that you're trying to manage Salah's legs. I'm completely fine with the idea you're trying to manage Firmino's. I'm not against the subject matter. I'd just quite liked 10 minutes with Mane, Firmino, and Salah all on the pitch. 10 minutes of them being fed the ball and being able to terrify, and maybe 10 minutes with Coutinho as well. As Firmino and Coutinho both get time on the pitch, 10 minutes with all 4 on the pitch at 1-0 might have made a world of difference. And I don't, and if that means you make your first sub a little earlier and then you make your second one a little later. I mean, when we're talking about fine margins, what's 4 minutes earlier than 6 minutes later, if you sort of see what I mean? Or do you know what I mean in terms of when these lads are getting rest? That's what I'm looking at. And I think that if Liverpool do that, get all 4 of them on the pitch after what we did in midweek, I think you see an Everton side go, oh no, we're getting it here. You see them take even another step back, another 3-4 yards back, and you see the Liverpool players on the pitch go, right, this is what we're doing now. We're all making it 2-0. We're serious about this, Sam. Let's go and do that. You've got a crowd that's suddenly up. And that's where I've got, if the manager was sitting here now, and I'm sure we'll always say, it's much more about football than us. But that's where I'm thinking, come on, mate. That's what we could have had that 10 minutes, and you chose not to have it.
Yeah, do you know what? I've not heard of you around the table I can't get on board with in a certain sense. But I think we're talking about fine margins all the time, and I think we're talking from a perspective of not the complete package of information. Look, entitlement to criticise the manager. We can speculate that approach might be right. We can speculate that putting all the lads, the good lads, on from the beginning might have yielded dividends and might have had a 3-0 half-time lead and got them all off. Your 10 minutes had it yielded nothing, or Everton scoring the counter might have then gone, well, can't they have another 10 minutes? Why make the change then? Let's put it this way. I think the broad logic to his decisions is understandable. I think
it's understandable if the game's 2-0. The subs are all understandable if the game's 2-0. Yeah. The game is not 2-0, it's 1-0.
I'm inclined to agree with the Salah one. I can see why he does it. Because I think the one thing we're a bit guilty of as fans, we're very guilty of as fans, is to view players through the prism of, that's Mohamed Salah, he's a 9.5 out of 10 player. That's Sadio Mane, he's a 9 out of 10 player. That's Philip. And assume that that's what you're putting on the pitch at that time, or that's what's remaining on the pitch at that time. But if you look at a season through, a great player, a Phil Coutinho, can have 20 terrible minutes because he's not very fit. I mean, that's something we haven't talked about when we've moaned about the team selection, by the way. Yeah. So Coutinho doesn't train for most of the time since...
and we could only presume Sturridge is injured, though no one's asked him.
No, he was supposedly injured. He was reported he had a tight hamstring. So that's why Sturridge wasn't even in the squad. So there's that fact. Emre Can's fitness has been up and down all season. So those the bench could have been looking at Salah in detail and going, do you know what? He's looking leggy. This is his 3.5 games in it. He could pull something here. There's a real danger of that.
I agree with that.
And I think it's almost a little bit, I hate to use this phrase, but it's almost a bit FIFA or Football Manager, whatever. Go, these are the good lads. They'll do the business. We'll worry about it later. But that argument can't prevail.
But what I was watching on the pitch, Rob, and I'm sorry to go back to you, but what I was watching on the pitch right the way through the game was, and he did perfectly fine at Stoke, but I think one of the reasons why he does really well at Stoke is because of Firmino. I was watching Solanke struggle.
Yeah.
And struggle overstated a little bit. I was just watching him really not be in the game. It was a tough game for him to be in for a variety of reasons, but I was watching him make the wrong decision, not occupy. And that is, for me, all the way through in all of this full conversation, Solanke's the big one. Like, in terms of almost everything we're talking about here, to some extent, I think is Dominic Solanke. I've got no issue, really, with the midfield selection that was brought in. I've got, I think that Robertson at left back, even though I think there's a conversation to be had around him, I think he plays left back. He's the second choice left back. The first choice left back's injured. All of that I can have a long chat about and go sound. But all the way through the game, I think the contextual thing of both pre-match And what you're seeing on the pitch is a lad who hasn't scored a league goal in the top flight, looking like a lad who hasn't scored a league goal in the top flight. And that's where, if the manager can come in for criticism, and I understand a lot of what you're saying, and I understand what he's saying, but that's what I'm looking at on the pitch. And sometimes, just sometimes, you've got to bite a bullet away from what your ideal thing to do.
Solanke, I've got a problem with. I'm sort of in agreement with you here, and I suspect the manager decides on playing the dual striker system, sort of, or having an orthodox forward anyway. And I think his first choice is probably going to have been Sturridge.
I think
and then
so.
Sturridge pulls up. And he's got a choice then. Does he rework what he planned to do ideally, or does he go with Solanke? Knowing that Solanke can be a handful, at home he'll see more chances. It could be, maybe he's seen it in training, the boy looking incredibly sharp.
Definitely.
I don't know.
Really fair.
If it's me, I'm not excited truly about Solanke, if I'm honest, and that's really unfair thing to ever sort of draw grand conclusions on young players. I think he looks okay. I'm not massively excited by him. I'm not rushing to pick him in a hurry soon, unless he's pulling up trees in youth matches. So I think there's a point there. I just can't help the feeling of Mane just squares that frigging ball before half time. We're having a totally different podcast.
No, of course we have. I think we're talking about
things.
We're talking about the 2-0 at the very least. It is worth pointing that out. And also, if the referee doesn't make a terrible decision, which we'll come on to, the two key decisions. There's one other thing I want to talk about though, Gareth, is how unbelievably sterile the game was. That it was, that this is a Merseyside derby. Theoretically, Everton are going to turn up and they're going to be, they're going to be alehouse, but they're going to be hard but fair, or hard but not fair, or whatever. They weren't even that. It's amongst the most sterile Merseyside derbies I can ever imagine. And I genuinely don't think that's Liverpool's fault. But when you were referring to before about shots on target, I think that's one of the things that leads to maybe Liverpool having a bit of a sterile domination of the game, in that there's absolutely nothing in the football match. And that is a really strange thing to go and see in a derby game.
Yeah, it was weird. And I think it was weird. I mean, Klopp complained about, I think, Sigurdsson on Henderson after the game. But yeah, there wasn't the big challenges flying in. There didn't even feel like that much of an edge to it, really. It just kind of felt like everyone had turned up and gone. Liverpool fans probably going, we're going to batter these. Everton fans turning up going, we're going to get battered. Allardyce setting up in that way and just hoping for the best.
And then if he goes 2-0 down, probably just takes that second half.
Yeah, and it was a weird match and a weird derby. And not even in the way like a derby's weird. Like, you don't expect them often to be sort of fluid because there's so much arguing and challenges going in and appealing to refs and all that sort of stuff. But it wasn't really like that. And there was a lot of Liverpool knocking the ball around. Would you sort of going, well, yeah, but where are we going with this, boys?
The thing that struck me as well was, and maybe you watch it back, but I did not feel like, I thought we're almost just winning all the 50-50s because they're not particularly contesting a lot of them. And that was really strange as well. You normally expect, the one thing you'd expect is at a derby, there will be 50-50 tackles and they'll go 50-50 because that's how it works. And sometimes you'll be furious with your lads and blah, blah, blah. Most of the time I was watching the 50-50s going, well, we're winning most of these here. What more do you want them to do? It's really... The only thing I wonder about, when you talk about 80% possession, Gareth, is whether or not they could just have took a few more chances. In that, if Everton are desperate to give you the ball back anyway, which seemingly they are, then maybe, one or two of you try and take a man on. Try and do something just be a bit unorthodox for 10 minutes.
Yeah, definitely, because there was nothing to worry about from them. I mean, as you say, we'll come on and talk about the penalty, but other than that, it was long ball to Calvert-Lewin or Rooney, and just hope for the best. And even when those lads were sort of pulling it in and holding it for a little bit, there was no real desire to come and join with them. It just felt like they were, holding a position, guarding the centre of the pitch in front of their box, and just going with that as a tactic. And so
didn't come as a surprise though, that did it?
No, not at all. But I mean, I think Neil's right in saying that there were times there where you just thought, go on, lads, skin them, have a run, try and take 2 or 3 on. Because what have you got to lose? I get that Liverpool...
We were doing more of that first half, I thought. Second half, Milner goes on a couple of mad runs where that mad way he dribbles, where he looks dead slow, but suddenly he's gone past 2. And but second half, we didn't seem to be doing that. We seemed to accept we'll just knock it round. First half, you at least thought they're doing something a bit here.
Yeah, I mean, it was strange with the 1-0. Like, I found it strange that we almost going, this is all right for so long. And I was naturally going, shit, because 1-0's not good enough, 1-0 isn't good enough, 1-0's never good enough. And I never get this mad shout about 2-0 being dangerous. I'm made up with 2-0. I'm all right with 2-0. 1-0's dangerous.
You can have a dodgy pen at 2-0, can't you? And still
Exactly,
win 2-1. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think if we'd have gone to 2-0, we're having a different conversation. That's why everyone will point to the Mane thing. And it's so bizarre that he chooses the decision that he makes. Do you know what I mean? Because loads of Liverpool's goals in recent weeks have been lots of the right decision being made and like, you know, goals coming out of great teamwork. And so to go, there's 3 fellas there, and he must see them and go, I'll just go myself, is really bizarre.
I mean, I sort of appreciate his confidence.
I was fuming seeing him laughing as well. I mean, don't laugh, lad.
That's nervousness. That's what his face does when he's nervous. I think Mane's coming for a lot of stick for that, and yeah, he does make the wrong decision, no doubt about it. But he gets himself in that position. The way he nicks that ball at such pace, and then his stride takes him clear. The Everton defender slightly blocks his vision to his right of the 3 lads. I'm building the case for Mane here, but
he could also go down the keeper. The thing I think really mad is if he wants to score himself, there's still about another 2 things he could do that aren't what he actually
shoot
does.
properly.
And not use your weaker foot because you've got the time to slip it onto your right.
Yeah.
You can put the keeper's position himself in a really weird way, I think. I mean, Andy might disagree with me, but I'm thinking he's offering him go the other side of me here and just roll it in with your left. There's, you know, I'm even off the basis of no, I'm scoring this, boys. I'm still going. It's a mad set of decisions here, lads.
Yeah. I just think it's one of those. He just has a rush of blood to the head, doesn't he, Hind?
Yeah, no, I just think he's clean. Yeah, I think Rob's spot on it. To be honest, mate, I've not really watched the back of him. I'm still fuming about it. To pick the bones out of Pickford's positioning, shall we say. Look, it's just one of them. He's made the decision to go for it. You know, it's not worked out. He should have squared. Of course, he should have squared it. But Merseyside derby, high octane. He's not playing particularly well. Maybe he's thinking, never get this one. I'll go up a gear. And it's just a bit of a brain fart all round, isn't it? I mean, don't forget, you got to give the lad credit for making the chance for himself in the first place, to be honest, round the corner. And then, look, again, I'm going to repeat myself and bore everyone to death with this, but no one's talking about it if we win Monday. You know, we made with the 3 points. That is a little bit in hindsight. It felt to me a little bit like the Firmino penalty against Sevilla at Anfield at the time, where we thought, right, okay, we missed that. We all know what's coming next.
On the second half, Paul, the first half is the second half. We were frustrated first half, but you could see we were trying to get the byline, getting the byline in the penalty area, that space between the edge of the area and the edge of the 6-yard box, pick people out. You could see there was more of that. Second half, to me, it did seem more knocking it around, and then the minute someone's just going to lash a cross in. And that might be against what I said before about maybe try something. Maybe the idea was other things we'll try is just to lash a cross in. But that's not how we've seen this Liverpool side play. And I'm watching that game there thinking, for the first time, really, you can sort of see, no matter how good the balls are, you can sort of see why the manager hasn't actually gone with Robertson that much if this is what he's exhibiting in training. And listen, the lad puts a really good ball in, but it is as though that's what he's going to do.
Yeah, but you know, you say it's not something you see this Liverpool side do, but I think when have you ever seen that Liverpool side? You know, when have you seen a side with Robertson, Solanke, Milner in it with no... And, you know, you talk about the Mane square. You know, you've seen these lads play little 1-2s together and whatnot. Well, it's not the same lads. And this is again part of the problem with the team selection. On the Robertson thing, I think he does all right as a left back. I think there's a bit of pace about him. There's a bit of delivery, but when he's aiming at Dom Solanke, which the one thing I would take exception with Dom Solanke with yesterday is that he's a big lad and he doesn't act like it. You know, he's almost playing like a little number 10. I don't think he holds the ball up well. I don't think he's winning any of the aerial duels well. And he's a young lad, and I'm more excited with him than Rob is by the sounds of things. But I just don't think the things that you want from, well, he must be 6'3", something. Dom Solanke,
Huge.
Big, really big lad, and I went to Berlin in the summer and watched the Hertha friendly, and I think he plays the full 90 pretty much, and I thought he was excellent in the air. And so the Robertson thing, I thought you get a decent ball on Solanke's head, great, but I just think Williams dealt with him perfectly all day.
But on Robertson, you can see now. I know there's been why isn't he playing Robertson? Why doesn't Robertson get a game? I think you can see off the back of the derby there why he's not been getting game. I think it's a bit of a strange one. He's over keen on getting the ball in quickly. It does everything outside the parameters of the box, where with Albie...
It's quite a basic fullback thing,
Yeah,
isn't it? Almost
yeah.
like a fullback that has played for Hull.
traditional fullback,
Aiming
if
at
you
the
want.
ass last year or whatever. Let's get the ball wide and get in the box quick.
The lad's got a good cross on him, but when there's 10 people in the box, it gets ever the more difficult, and that's where I think with Albie a little bit, he will commit a defender, he'll try and take someone on in the box and try and move people around, but obviously he's injured. But I thought it was interesting given the amount of people who were going, why isn't Robertson playing? We've spent this money on him. You know, and the start, up until recently, it was I put him at Eder Moreno, and then, I mean, Moreno's form's obviously been recognised now. So you could see why, you know, Klopp prefers Moreno. I'm not saying for a different side, maybe Robertson would be a better option, but the way we're set up and the way we want to play, especially against teams who park the bus, so to speak, I think you see the real benefit of having Albie in that position.
I agree. I think Albie Moreno is a better player than Robertson. I think he's got a higher ceiling. I like the cross he's got on him, Robertson.
No, it's a good cross.
It's also, but it's just not the sort of. I don't think that was a fault.
Harry Kane enjoys playing with Robertson. I'd say more than Moreno.
I noticed Chelsea when they went on the front foot in that second half, trying to get the game back the other week at Anfield. They played a lot like we did against Everton. It was all about low trajectory crosses from wide positions. This is because against deep low block defences, you kind of have to do that unless you want to take pot shots from the edge of the box. We did get in behind a few times. Mane got in, but it was difficult to pick out a man. I don't have a major problem with Robertson. You know what? I think we set about our task well. With a little bit of luck, one or two of those might have broken our way. Dom Solanke might have come out with a poacher's goal out of that game. You look second half, the focus on not getting shots on target. There's a lot that go off target where I don't see why it makes them any less of a chance. Like Gomez has a real gilt-edged chance with a header. Salah's, when I've seen that back, that's a real. I mean, everyone goes, "Oh, it's a great."
I didn't realise that was such a chance.
It's a great cross, and it's and good on Mo for getting on the end of it. But he does need to score that. He's got a gaping goal in front of him.
This is what I'm saying. For all the moaning about the 1-1, we had easily enough to put him to bed.
Yeah, we easily. And there's one where the ball flashes across the box and almost goes. Mane makes a great dash in. Who whips it in? Someone from the right. Is it Milner?
Maybe.
Sorry?
Gomez?
Yeah, it might be
Gomez.
And he's very, very close to getting on the end of it. It's what it's like. The interesting thing is that I don't know if you said it before, we joked about saying it before, is Big Sam wants to be 1-0 down on 80, and he gets that. He does not come out at all, and that's why it's difficult to go 2-0. And Everton, I have to say, we just go back to the point about what a low-key derby it was. I have never felt so not nervous in a derby. Even at bloody 2-0 up in some of the recent derbies, I thought, these little shits can still go and get a goal, and then they have the wind in their sails and the crowd, their fans behind them, and make it into a mad game. I never felt that could happen.
You say about Allardyce, see, this is the reporting around. That's my fucking head in. Like, Allardyce, he's done one on the Cop Heights, he's done one on Liverpool there. We could have been fucking out of sight.
Yes.
You change a few minor details there, we're out of sight, and is he still a genius?
It's not even an attack, the one they get the penalty. It's barely... It's
they
a
weren't
punt
interested in getting involved in a contest.
It's a punt into the frigging channel, and it's not a fucking pen.
Just before we go so far away from the fullbacks, there was a time in that game yesterday where I was sitting thinking to myself, Joe Gomez is probably one of the best defenders in Britain at the moment. I thought he was absolutely tremendous.
He was very sexy yesterday. I thought he was great.
The ease of what he was dealing with Everton in certain scenarios, just putting his body around players, and we've got a serious player on our hands in Joe Gomez.
I said that. He looked like one of those Euro defenders that brush people aside and saunter forward manfully.
I enjoy his. I'm a little bit quicker than you all think I am. That he does, where he's like, you think I'm just going at this speed? Watch me go at this speed for 3 yards and just carry the ball away from you.
His burst of pace going both ways is surprising, actually, because he's a bit of a unit as well.
Huge.
I'm
just going to keep saying lads are huge. It's my job today.
He's impressive. There was times he was stepping across Everton defenders yesterday. He was just almost like an Italianness about him.
That's what I meant.
There's a sort of bit of casual moving across, and I just thought, wow, lads, you've firstly got over the injury problems. Touch wood. I think that's behind you now. And yes, you are the player we thought we were getting from Charlton when we were seeing him on the other side making his debut at Stoke, and we're all so excited about him. He is absolutely mustard, and I suppose for a wider thing, England will be looking at him as probably a starter in the 3 in the World Cup in the summer.
What was Pickford doing, by the way? Just like why so many times did he just boot it out of touch?
That was funny, that wasn't
It
it?
was hilarious. It was
All I
like,
could think of was I can't wait to say to Rob Gutmann, hey, what about Pickford's distribution, dickhead?
I sat there going, I was enjoying how we kept getting it wrong. I thought, it did as Pepe Reina like what he's attempting, and you got to be fair play to him. I think
were you
that's quite
trying
a
at
good.
it?
Calvert-Lewin, just Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, he was just trying to hit the right. He was just trying to hit the right flank, wasn't he? You know, you could. I was saying I saw Gibbo at half time. So you could just see every single thing that Sam worked on in training in that first half, like from their stupid kickoff where they go backwards and try and launch it first time and it finds touch. And
there was loads of that, wasn't it? There was loads of the moments because they were so shit.
They were awful. They just posed no threat coming forward, even when they get their set piece. Yeah, that's the other thing. You get about 10 minutes in, you go, oh, here's another Sam one. They get a free kick on the halfway line, and they're all going forward.
When they got the corner, did you see the reaction when they got the fucking corner?
I'm like it was the pen.
Jesus Christ.
You played the audio back on that. You wouldn't tell the difference between the pen and the corner.
This is who you are.
What did John O say? They love a throw-in, don't they?
Yeah.
They love a throw, they love a handball shout, but they got a penalty, Rob. I'm going to try and keep my temper for as long as possible. So that's for the listeners as well. It's just not a fucking penalty.
Thank you, Neil.
We don't talk about the referee on this show normally. I don't really want to absolutely get it stuck into the referee, but when it is such a key decision that defines the outcome, not a fucking penalty.
No, it's not a pen. I'm arguing with you. Well, Paul will come and give his view in a minute. There are views.
Anyone who thinks it's a penalty is wrong.
No, they are just wrong. There are angles which people have tried to show me on Twitter where they
look at it from this angle.
Fuck off. Well, like it's the fucking Zapruder film. and you see, yes, Lovren's hand goes back, and if you want to squint at it, it maybe looks like he doesn't. Lewin puts the brakes on. Lovren literally pulls his arms up in an effete way, in a natural way, and doesn't lay a glove on the player. It's not even close to. And also, you think there's a piece of refereeing. He's going away from goal. There's no way an injustice is going to be done. I'm not saying, on balance, referee the game in a Klatz kind of way. But for fuck's sake, he had
Klatz
to have...
said it was a penalty.
Klatz would. In the context of his game plan.
Klatz is wrong as well.
In the context of his game... But you go, hang on, there's significant doubt here. But it was like he was dying to give it.
Oh, he was made up.
He was on the run, wasn't he? He goes, I'm running, I'm pointing, I'm running, and I'm giving a penalty. And they're all seeing me do it, the Blues, and they're happy, I'm happy.
He was... I've given a contentious penalty at Anfield. Look at me. Look at the size of my bollocks. I'm going to knock a belter out tonight.
All but jumped in the crowd, didn't he?
He really did. Top off as he gives it.
Do you want the other side of this?
It's where you try to say it's a fucking penalty. Yeah, all right, sounds. I'll fucking chase you out the room with a stick.
Let's have it, come on. I don't think it's a penalty, but I can see why it's given.
I think
that only makes me angrier.
I don't sympathise with the ref because I sort of do agree with the fact that I feel like he was very aware he was on the telly, and I think he enjoyed every minute of giving the pen.
Absolutely.
It was almost like, what's his name, Mike Dean with his overzealous pointing and whatnot.
I mean, he hasn't got the class of Dean.
No one has. But
I mean, if Mike Dean gives that, even I've got to shrug my shoulders and go, Sam, Michael.
You'd enjoy the moment.
Yeah, you would, yeah.
But no, I
can see a genius in his pomp.
I can see why it's given a bit because I think Lovren's a bit naive with his hands, and I think he's got to take a step to the side and almost shield him rather than just get touch tight with the back of him. The minute he sort of blocks the referee's angle, I know you're not going to have any of this. I'm
looking for things I can throw at you.
It's contentious. I don't think it's a penalty, and I think if you give fucking loads of them. If that Lucas A bottle comes at me, Atkinson. But no, I can see a bit why he's given it. So there's my wonderful analysis.
All the way through the game, there's loads of contact like that in the other box. You know, like even on Salah's goal, like they have someone has a bit of a go at his shirt as he's like going through, but fuck all happens. But I'm a bit like you in that I think there is two different camera angles kicking around. There's the one which is the ref's view, and basically on the ref's view he does see an arm. And that's what's enabled them to give him.
That's where when you're a senior pro, centre half that's been knocking around this league for a number of years now, you've got to be a bit cute.
But you got to have his arms behind his back, though.
No, I think he's got to shield him and go down the side of him.
Yeah, because he's going the wrong direction. He's going away from goal, Calvert-Lewin. But I mean, I'd actually give him some credit in that he sees Lovren coming, and he doesn't just, there isn't just a coming together. He makes the coming together happen by throwing himself towards Lovren and then bouncing off him.
And that's what all of our lads to do with Calvert-Lewin does there, by the way. I think it's
a dive.
Yeah, but one that gets him a penalty and a point. So I sort of, if that's Mo Salah who's done that to Everton at 1-1, I'm absolutely made
I'm punching the air. Doesn't mean it's not an injustice, though.
I'm banging into cheating. It's just not a penalty. Andy.
Look, whether I personally, I'm with Paul on this. I'll be honest with you. I think Lovren puts himself in a position where he gives the referee an excuse to give a penalty. I think he's naive. I don't think it's the first time this has happened. I think it just plays into the whole, well, keep it tight, lads, because Liverpool will give you something, and there you are.
Yeah.
There you go. We've given you a penalty. I
don't know what Lovren does apart from get off the pitch in this series.
He should be a yard further away from him. He's far too tight to him. He's far too tight, and he gives Calvert-Lewin the excuse to go over. Pawson couldn't wait to give it.
All you've got to do is hold him up.
Pawson was over the fucking
Don't touch him.
moon.
Why touch him?
You don't need to. Exactly
Why
right.
touch him?
Don't give the referee an
Just
excuse
block his angle to the
give
shot,
a decision.
That's
He's going
all
away
you've got to do
from
as a
goal.
centre-half there.
He's going away from goal. There's no one alongside him. It's not like if he goes away from goal and knocks it back in, someone's steaming in. No one's there. There's absolutely no reason for Dejan Lovren to make any kind of contact.
I think there's a world where he gives him the yard, he gets stood up and he gets done.
You can't tackle from behind.
He gets,
So why is he
he's not from
behind?
behind, but he's not behind. I think when you look at it, I think he looks side to side to him. Just looks side to side to him.
Yeah, he does. Exactly. He drops off 2 yards, he can push it down the side and he's in behind us, and then Lovren can't make a challenge.
His arms are up his back,
He's running away
and
from
he
goal.
shouldn't be there. He should be side on. Any centre-half in that situation should be side on to him, so he can turn with his body and block the ball back
The
in.
fundamental issue is that the referee's got to be better at his job.
Yeah.
But don't put yourself in a position. But don't put yourself in that position that we do.
Yeah, I mean, but my point is, and this is where I think is that you'll end up just driving yourself mad. You'll just end up driving yourself mad. And as I was saying last night, it sounds like we should just be able to win 1-0. That's what does my head in is we should just be allowed to win 1-0. And it's like we're not allowed to win 1-0. It's like someone's gone, now he's not allowed to win 1-0.
The point you made,
It's unlucky
I thought was interesting on the pink, is the fact that this Liverpool side's won 7-0 more than 1-0. That sort of sums up just how mad we are. So, who wins 7-0 twice in the season, but can't win 1-0?
But also how unlucky we are. So I'll give you another really good example in that. Listen, it did me.
Is it luck or stupidity?
I'll give you an example of a terrible bit of defending. But where we're unlucky is Newcastle. So both centre halves, both Matip and Lovren are crap. They're both crap. They're both all over the place. But the lad still doesn't even kick it in the goal. He kicks it against his own leg and it fucking goes in. Yeah. So both centre halves are crap. And so I'm not having an argument about that, but you like at times, and I do sort of feel, and you can go, oh, you're just saying you're just unlucky, because we've been lucky at times. But I do sort of think you are allowed just to have a bit of luck and just to win 1-0.
Where are our lucky 1-0s come from?
Well,
there's just none of them.
There haven't been any of them.
What everyone says about, I've seen them given, Lovren's a bit naive, it's not a penalty, and it's unlucky that it happens in that way.
But Rob, how many times can you be unlucky before it becomes an issue? Before
I'm only talking about this one. I'm only
it.
saying in this one instance it's unlucky. The fact that all manner of things don't fly in for us, and then that is the only. Let's put it this way. That's the only chance they gave themselves to be lucky in the whole game. The one chance they gave themselves to be lucky, and it was a fucking shit chance to be lucky, and they got lucky.
Can I have one thing on this as well, where I will criticise Lovren? Is I think he should win the header from Rooney's ball.
I agree with that.
Doesn't even try when it does. He
I don't understand why he hasn't just gone over Calvert-Lewin there. If you're gonna take a risk, that's the one you make.
I think I'll tell you one of the reasons why. Harry Kane.
Because he's been done by him before.
Because he's been done because the way he got done on Spurs. By the way he got done on that Spurs game. So what he's thinking.
That ball's there to be head.
It is, but I think that what's in his head is, and clearly he'll have been sat down and gone, Dejan, do us a favour, don't do that again. So I think he knows.
So he doesn't.
And I think that's what's in his head there. I think there's another one where he does that as well.
If he leaves the ground and doesn't make the header, Calvert-Lewin really is clean through.
Yeah. And so I think that's what's in his head is I can't do that there. But I take your point. I do take your point.
It does look like it's better to be won that header.
It does.
That ball from Rooney's at a very headable height. Anyway,
I have to say, when the player goes down, I know many a time, especially in a derby like that, my first instinct is, oh shit, penalty, right? My fear is I look straight to the ref. I didn't even cross my mind the minute Lewin went down there that was going to be a penalty.
They didn't go that mad.
No.
It was right in front of them and they didn't go that mad. They really did not go bananas for it. I thought it was really interesting. Now, no one went bananas for it. And here he is, sauntering through the middle of the pitch, looking forward to pointing towards the spot. The Champions League draw then, moving away from Liverpool versus Everton. God, Gutmann's come alive. Zantana has picked up. You happy with it?
Yeah, do you know? And also, post-derby, it's a salutary reminder that we're in the draw for the world's top club competition, whereas the Blues aren't. They're not even in the draw for the second competition. They're in no draw. Blues, who aren't listening to this, somewhere along the line. Yeah, it's a great. You know, I said yesterday to friends, there is one. There's a couple of nightmare draws in there. Well, draws where we have to.
They're all good draws,
yeah,
really.
Well, there's a couple of draws where you have to go.
I'm not sad about Real Madrid coming to
I didn't want to. I got sick of hearing people go, do you know what? You have to beat them all at once upon a time.
Couldn't be arsed with Donetsk.
Fuck off.
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Couldn't be arsed with
Fuck
Donetsk.
off, Juve, Real Madrid, and Bayern Munich. I want Liverpool to be in the quarter-final, the semi-final, the Champions League again. I want to remember. I remember what that felt like. And here now. I may be tempting fate, but Porto is a really, really good draw. They're one of the weakest teams there, and for those of us who like to go to an away, it's a really, really interesting.
What's the name of the competition again, Rob?
The Champions League.
Oh, right, okay.
Do you want to do the song?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's a good draw. It's a good draw. It's an exciting draw for us, and it gives us a really good chance of being in the last 8.
I mean, from a sporting and social point of view, it's a great draw. It's a good draw for those who like to go to away matches, because it's going to be, you know, a nice place to go and whatnot. But also from the more important thing, the sporting thing, I think it's a good draw as well. I think if you get someone slightly more defensive minded that may not suit Liverpool, you know, I think what is Stad Dragao or something is it that they play at? I think it'll be a tough game, because they go and win there every week. But so do Maribor, and so do Spartak Moscow and Seville. And what that means for Liverpool is chances. I think Porto can't just become a side that automatically put 11 men behind the ball. So they'll have to come and play a bit against Liverpool, leaving themselves open, and it's the sort of draw I think that suits us down to the ground.
And Paul, when we line up with our famous Fab Four, then I'll say to you, that's only possible because we rested these pillocks in the derby.
Wind your neck in on that. Gareth, it's not just the draw from the point of, you know, we know it'll be tough against Porto. They've got to where they've got to. They get there every year. They've got tons and tons of European experience, and it's worth remembering that, because we haven't got tons and tons of European experience anymore. They have. So it won't be straightforward, but it could have been tougher. But the other thing as well is the way the draw's gone on the whole. It potentially opens up for anyone who gets to the last 8. Really, that there's the possibility of getting a nice tie in the last 8, or even come the last 4 if it goes the other way, where all the tough teams play each other again in the last 8. You know, it is as draws go. If you've got an interest in actually winning the whole thing, which we should have as much as anyone else, then we can just nod our heads at this one and go on then.
Well, Zabi was there, wasn't he, for the draw, looking cool as ever, and he was asked, you know, can Liverpool have a go? And that was pretty much what he said. Why not? Because that is the case, that you get so far into it, you get a certain depth into the competition, you just go, yeah, why not? Because at this stage, you know, Liverpool can beat anyone at Anfield. Liverpool can beat anyone over 2 legs. And, you know, all right, we're getting frustrated with Liverpool right now, because yesterday we were at the derby and we didn't beat one of the shittest sides I've ever watched. But we've still taken, you know, 17 from 21 since we lost to Spurs. We're still on the up. We're still scoring loads of goals. You know, the Fab Four will be on the pitch again. We will carry on scoring goals. And who fancies playing Liverpool? I mean, look, you know, I'm sure we'll get into in depth about Porto and everything they can offer and how they're going to line up and sign stoppers. But they won't want to be facing Liverpool. And elsewhere in that draw as well, like you say, I think it looks quite nice. Like, it's good that PSG or Real Madrid are out. You know what I mean? Because they're playing each other. It's good that Chelsea or Barca are out because they're playing each other. And so it has
Juventus and Spurs.
Yeah,
Juventus and Spurs, another one as well. Yeah. So it's kind of it looks quite kind to us as things stand.
It is kind, Andy, and it should also get to be a laugh. That's the point. The point is to enjoy all of this. That's, you know, the purpose of being in the Champions League is to enjoy the adventure. There's 16 teams left. 15 of them aren't going to win it. One is, and you know, being able to cut loose. Hopefully, really enjoy Portugal in February, and then everyone back to Anfield for the key thing for us is the second leg is at home. We get the second leg at home, so we've got that to build towards as well. And it means no matter what happens in the league season, not that I think we're going anywhere, and we'll come on to talk about that in a minute. But we've all got something to play for in February. We've got to come alive in February. We've got a big job to do.
Yeah, it's all about staying in the hat, isn't it? And we've got a good. I mean, regardless of who we got drawn against, this Liverpool team isn't bad. I mean, I'm not as fatalistic in so much as I wouldn't have minded Bayern Munich to be honest.
I'd like Bayern Munich in the last 8 if we get through, to be honest.
Yeah, but we were talking about this, weren't we? But no, Porto, and you know what's possible? It's another one off the list. It's a stadium I haven't done before, so I'm looking forward to going. You did have me worried with this talk of weather and all that, so I've actually been on AccuWeather.com.
Oh, aye.
And apparently, well, not apparently, but the average for that week for Valentine's Day is actually a balmy 17 degrees.
17.
Yeah, 17 degrees and nice. But so yeah, Valentine's Day. I've had my permission slip signed by the wife. I don't think she's realised it's Valley Day. But yeah, I've crossed the bridge when it comes. But as you say, Jen, get over there. Get a decent result, take a draw, have a nice couple of days, come back and do them in at Anfield, and then we'll see Bayern Munich. And
17 sounds all right when it's -3 here, by the way.
Yeah, and there's another stark reality, which is that she absolutely has realised when it is and signed that permission slip with glee. Rob.
You twat.
I've been ruthless all the way through this, haven't I?
All because I said there was a penalty.
Yeah,
all because I said there was a penalty.
Honestly, wait until the night. I'm going to find some sort of way to make Senior's Day nightmarish as well, one at a time.
Well, I can't go to Porto, so it's already been
a
difficult thing for me.
Moving away from the Champions League draw, then and looking at West Brom at home. I mean, Rob, everyone's saying you see what you get the result after the West Brom win. But if they beat West Brom, then we all get to say, well, it's 4 points from 2. I go a bit further, really, and say that it's got to be 7 points from the 3 of Everton, West Brom and Bournemouth before we all get to take a bit of a breath. You're on holiday when I could do with you doing an overview show. And then we've got the game against Arsenal coming up, and that then almost starts the bank of Christmas games. My point is, I don't think you're going to see a full strength Liverpool sides against West Brom. I think you're going to see there's going to be chopping and changing for both West Brom and for Bournemouth. It's going to be a bit of a mix and match in that front six.
Yeah, I mean, what we don't know is what the fitness issues are. I was relieved that Coutinho had even made the bench yesterday. I mean, we could. One of them. We were assuming we get a choice in seeing our preferred front four all the time, but one of them could easily just drop out with a month's worth of injury any day soon. So Klopp clearly has to be very careful. There is, yes, we fully expect rotation against West Brom. There's a possibility that he could put everyone back together for Bournemouth, knowing there's a 5-day gap for Arsenal, isn't there? He could conceivably do that. Drawing it, the way I'm looking at the way I'm managing these games in my head is we're winning 2, draw maybe 3, drawing in the odd one, and I'm not when I looked at these games before the run ahead. I think in one of our overview shows, you'd have targeted the dropping pointy games, if you have to drop them, as being the likes of Chelsea or the Derby. 1, because Chelsea are good, 2, because the Derby's a bit of a weird one. But in between times, we've done all the business we have to do. And I'm looking at, I hope we can win 2 games this week. I think West Brom, they'll be very, very hungry for West Brom and very, very eager to get into them. We'd have come off the pitch frustrated against Everton. I don't think it would have harmed confidence at all. We'd have come off the pitch frustrated and ready to put it right against West Brom. I think we will.
In the midst of all this, it's easy to take your eye off the table. For the first time for a while, we're actually in the top 4 on our own steam with all games played, so no one's got games in hand where we can fall in and fall out. So I think the key, quite rightly, as you say, is just consolidate that over the next 2 games. Yeah,
that's where we get. Look, City have built up such a lead, and the talk of title challenge is fanciful. So to become is ensconced in the top 4 is our immediate aim, and to give ourselves the breathing space around the Champions League. Do you know what? If we do have to rest a player in Champions League week, that would be a nice place to be.
Gareth, there is, you're looking at the results since the last international break, and we've long said it's the thing that's going to define the season. You're seeing this weekend, there's 2 ways to look at the people dropping points, Arsenal dropping points, Chelsea dropping points, and the Manchester Union clubs dropping points. The one way to look at it is to say, well, that's an opportunity missed. Another way to look at it is firstly, it's a point game on United, but also be able to go, well, it's what's going to happen in this run. You can't just keep going at the level that you're going at week in, week out in this run. And we're now 11 points from 15 since the international break. That's wins against Southampton, Stoke and Brighton, a draw against Chelsea and Everton. You're looking at the next 2, West Brom and Bournemouth. If that does become 17 points out of 21, I think that's the moment where we're able to take a bit of a breath before the Arsenal game. And maybe we do get to say, listen, certainly if there's been no significant injuries between now and then, we're able to go 17 out of 21, Champions League form, going into Christmas period with, broadly speaking, a plausible full complement of players. We're doing well. This is a football team that's actually doing well. But to do that, though, they have got to take these results from the next 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the problems we've had with Liverpool, isn't it, is that they didn't beat teams they should beat, and people will throw Everton back at that statement and say, well, there's one you didn't do. But in general, though, you know, Huddersfield, West Ham, Southampton, Stoke, Brighton, you know, they're good results, and they're ones that, you know, we seem to have struggled with in the past. So I reckon, you know, when Klopp's sort of over the penalty and over Allardyce and all that, they'll be sitting there and they'll be looking at that, you know, that big list and going, we're doing all right here. We're on track. We found a way in general, it seems, to beat these kind of teams. So you beat West Brom, you beat Bournemouth, you go to Arsenal, and obviously that's a different game. That's one of those big games. And like if you end up winning that, well, you're definitely not talking about the derby then. If you won at Arsenal away, haven't won those other two, it's all forgotten, all's forgiven. We all think that Ed's a boss. And there's a run, really, of games there that we should win, even after that. Swansea at home, Leicester, Burnley, and then Everton again in the FA Cup. And so it's you know, there's no reason to fear any of those games, even Arsenal as well. So I'm already feeling brighter about it all, mate. You know what I mean?
That was the aim of the
Fuck
enterprise.
Everton.
Fuck Everton. Man United 1, Man City 2. Andy, we're all playing for second now, and I think we've got to acknowledge that and what that means, that we're 5 points off the pace being Manchester United in second place. We're all playing a bit of fantasy Jurgen at the minute. What do you think he does against West Brom?
Oh, I don't think he starts Solanke. I'll go as far as that, which is a shame because he played well against Stoke.
To imagine Trent as
Trent will come back in. Be interesting to see whether Matip's in and around. Is he still out?
I don't think he is anywhere near.
He won't be anywhere near. He's the big loss.
I think you can
I
assume
wonder
that
whether he does something
Coutinho-
at centre half, you know. Well, Joe Gomez has had a bit of rotation where Klavan and Lovren, well, Lovren especially, but Klavan is playing a lot of football at the moment for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
So I wonder whether Gomez maybe gets a run
Trent's at
centre
right
half in
back.
the week.
That's a
Trent's
good
at right
shout.
back.
Trent's
Possibly.
at right back and Gomez
Yeah.
and Lovren probably at centre
Possibly.
half.
No,
would
it's a
be my
good.
bet.
It's a good shout. I think you can assume that Firmino will start.
As will
Do
Coutinho.
you
I
reckon
think
Robertson
he's fine.
starts?
No. Well,
Milner's played a few on the bounce.
I'd stick Milner. Yeah, but he's got it in the tank, hasn't he? And Milner's always generally been fit, one of the fitter members of the squad. I'd say, especially if you're talking Trent right back, Gomez centre half, you need a bit of experience there. So I'd maybe look at putting Milner in at left back. Neil, you mentioned the Man United game there, just quickly, because we had the chat on the Friday show, didn't we?
Yeah.
About how the Old Trafford game might go and how it might boil over, and then true to form it did. It's going to be interesting to see United's reaction to this, you know. The spat, especially the spat after it, because Mourinho's back under the spotlight there with half a bottle of milk lashed on his coat and one thing and the other. And
Was it milk?
well, but
Come on,
generally,
give me a chance.
come on. When
Want
things
people
like
to pay
this,
£5 a month here? Go ahead, Andy.
when things like this happen, he tends to lose head a bit, and these rumble on and on and on and on. And what we've seen over the course of the season, at one point, Spurs looked like they were going to run City close or be the most likely. Then it was Chelsea. The amount of the times the clubs who would suddenly go from doing well to drifting right out of it, you just wonder how United do over the next couple of fixtures.
Who've
And
they got
whether
coming up?
Well, they've got the problem that you've got here is that their next two are our next two, but inverted. They've got Bournemouth at home and West Brom away.
I think United can almost take a bit of credit out of that game yesterday in a weird way, because, you know, they're in the contest with City and there's not many sides this year that have been in
I
the
don't know, you know,
contest with
for a
City.
couple of months, City, well, not for a few weeks, City have been in a contest with a lot of bums. West Ham nearly beat them. I know,
Yeah.
City,
You're right,
City,
you're right, you're right, you are
City have
right.
been 2-1ing their way to the title quietly in the last 5 weeks.
That's how you win it, sadly. And that's why they've probably the first side that anyone's really given up on in December for a long, long time.
Yeah,
at least.
since Chelsea
Did you get
over
on to
6.
City's song, by the way? Park the bus, Man United.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Lovely.
anyway,
stuff.
on West Brom, I think Wijnaldum comes back in. By the way,
I think when Wijnaldum comes back in, I think Firmino plays. Rob, I think that you may or may not see Coutinho. The one who I think may well miss out because he got the full 90. He wasn't great. The manager might think, I'll park you. You'll be great at Bournemouth away as Mane.
Did he? Mane's played. Is it 3 in a week or 2? He didn't play Stoke. He did play Brighton.
We did play Stoke.
No, he didn't, Manny.
He didn't?
Oh, he did. Sorry, he scored
did play
against.
Stoke.
So he plays Stoke, sorry, he doesn't play
Salah
Brighton.
doesn't
He
play
doesn't
Stoke.
play Brighton.
He doesn't play Brighton, sorry.
Does he look slightly offered to you?
I think he's a
Mane?
little bit off it,
Yeah, he's since the injury, but I tell you what, I'm a massive fan of Mane, and I think even when he's off it, he's still a threat. And everyone's focusing. I said this earlier. Everyone's focusing on the miss
I'm
against
not
Everton.
knocking him, Rob, I'm
No,
just
no,
saying-
no. Everyone's focusing on the miss against Everton, but only he gets himself in that position
Yeah.
to miss it in the first place. So it's fantastic anticipation and acceleration, but. Against West Brom, you look at Coutinho, Firmino, assuming that Phil is okay with a few days rest. Coutinho, Firmino, and one of Salah or Mane. I think we'll see three of the.
I think he
four
makes
for
the
this one.
change for Salah so we can use him again. I think
Yeah,
that's why you.
I think that's probably
I think
right.
that's why you've seen it. To be honest, because he doesn't want to not use him. I think Salah maybe. You know, I've battered the manager earlier on the show for changing them, but what he is doing there is going, I can start you again, and I can start you again, and I can start you again because I've given you 60. So 60, only giving you 2/3 of what you should have got.
Okay, very quick prediction. Rob?
4-0.
I think they're going to get a hiding. West Brom.
Gareth?
3-0.
Andy?
I don't know, I'm a bit worried about this. Maybe a bit of score draw.
Score draw. Okay. Thank you very much to everyone. If you really enjoyed the Anfield Wrap this week, if you don't subscribe, do think about doing so. And if you do, I hope you really enjoy yourself.
Oh shit! No, hang on. I forgot we're at Anfield, aren't we?
Yeah, we're at Anfield.
Sorry, mate. Oh yeah, no. Fuck it. 3-1.
Excellent stuff, Ant.
£5 a month.
£5 a month for lads forgetting where games are. We will see you soon. Take it easy.